arrogant boxer forced young black girl into ring to humiliate her. What happened next shocked everyone. It was barely 8:02 a.m. when the elevator dinged open on the 17th floor of Denbridge Consulting. Sleek floors, white light, and silence broken only by the hum of ceiling vents. Then came the voice. "Oh, you actually made it," said Lauren Blake, Director of Strategy, heels clicking across the marble as she stared at the woman stepping out of the elevator. Jenna Taylor paused. The entire floor seemed to look up from their desks. She clutched a reusable lunch bag to her chest and smiled politely. "Good morning." Lauren didn't return the smile. "Morning meetings are for full-time employees, not interns playing office," she added. A few quiet chuckles rose from the far desks. No one met Jenna's eyes. Lauren stood tall in her fitted blazer, her ID badge glinting. "You'll be shadowing admin support today. Please don't touch anything that needs thinking." Jenna blinked, nodded once. She moved toward her assigned desk, the corner seat by the copy machine. No computer, just a paper tray and a landline phone from 1998. She placed her lunch bag down gently, then reached into her tote and pulled out a small object, a green mechanical pencil. The grip was peeling, the clip was bent, but she held it carefully, like it mattered. David, a junior associate 2 rows down, watched in silence. He'd seen what just happened. So had everyone else, but they all did what they always did, pretended they hadn't. Jenna opened a legal pad and began writing. Dates, names, timings, small things no one else noticed. It wasn't the first time someone talked down to her, but she'd started tracking when and who, and someday she'd use it. By 10:17 a.m., the tension had spread like stale coffee in the air. "She's still here," someone whispered near the HR desk. "Didn't think she'd last the first day." "She's writing again," said another. "Does she not understand how this place works?" Lauren passed by Jenna's desk mid-sentence on a call. Without pausing, she tapped Jenna's notebook with a manicured nail and said into her headset, "And some people think taking notes equals talent." More laughter. Jenna kept her head down, lips pressed, mechanical pencil moving line by line. One page, then another. David watched her from behind his dual monitors. Something in the way she held herself, still, but not small, didn't match the way Lauren talked about her. Most temps either shrank or snapped. Jenna just absorbed. She didn't interrupt, didn't argue, didn't flinch. Around 11:05, the office printer jammed. A minor disaster in corporate America. "Taylor," Lauren barked from her glass office. "Fix it, since you're sitting next to it." Jenna stood and walked to the printer. Her hands moved quickly. Open reset feed. It whirred back to life within seconds. "Well," said Lauren, eyeing her. "At least she's useful." No one thanked her. But David noticed something. Jenna didn't even glance for approval. She walked back to her desk and kept writing. That same green pencil. That same worn notepad. After lunch, Lauren held a departmental briefing. Mandatory. Jenna stood awkwardly near the wall. Not enough chairs. Lauren scanned the room. "Before we begin, let's make sure everyone who's paid to speak has a seat. Interns, feel free to stand or step out." Jenna didn't move. She remained at the back, silent, eyes alert. One slide into the presentation, Lauren struggled to pull up a chart. "Sorry, someone closed my file." Again, "This is why we don't mix interns with infrastructure." From the back, a calm voice. "It's minimized, not closed." Bottom right, blue Excel icon. Everyone turned. Lauren clicked, and the chart popped up. She froze for a beat, then forced a smile. "Lucky guess," she said flatly. Jenna said nothing, but David saw it. The tiniest flicker in her expression. Not pride, not defiance, just a quiet, unbothered certainty. There was something else too. A small name, hand-lettered inside the notebook cover. J. Taylor observe. Endure. Record. David leaned back. He didn't know what Jenna was planning, but he had the sudden sense someone was watching everything. And one day, all of it would matter. 2 days later, the office felt colder. Not from temperature, but tone. Lauren had called for a quality assessment session with the entire strategy team. A quarterly performance drill that, until now, never included interns. But this time, Jenna's name was added at the bottom of the invite list. The glass conference room overlooked the city skyline. Everyone filed in with laptops and iced coffee. Jenna entered last, notebook in hand. Lauren raised an eyebrow. "Paper again, Jenna?" "Yes," she said, sitting quietly at the edge of the table. "Of course," Lauren smirked. "We'll see how far pencils get you in this business." The meeting began with numbers, campaign metrics, client churn, lost opportunities. Lauren controlled the screen, flipping through slide after slide of filtered charts and vague explanations. Then came the fourth quarter client file. Baywell Tech. "We lost the renewal," Lauren said, voice steady. "Market conditions, new CMO, timing, standard churn." Jenna looked up. Her pencil paused. She flipped back in her notepad. 3 weeks ago, she had logged overheard details. Baywell was interested in expanding, not downsizing. And she'd seen a printed proposal tossed in recycling, unopened. She had even scribbled the file's internal tag. BTQ 219 follow-up. Jenna waited. No one questioned Lauren's claim. No one dared. Until she raised her hand. Lauren blinked. "Yes, Jenna? I think there may have been a missed proposal follow-up." BTQ 219? Lauren's smile froze. "What?" "I remember seeing it assigned in the project queue. But the document was never opened." The room fell quiet. David looked up from his laptop. One of the assistants shifted in her seat. Even the AC vent hummed a little louder. Lauren stepped forward, her tone tight. "Are you suggesting a junior intern knows more than the strategy director?" Jenna didn't flinch. "No, I'm suggesting the file might still be retrievable. I just remember the code." "I don't believe this," Lauren snapped. "We're running an audit, not story time." But the damage had begun. One of the senior associates, Priya, opened her files. "Wait, she's right." BTQ 219. That was tagged urgent follow-up. It was reassigned but never sent. Lauren turned sharply. "That's not possible. I forwarded everything." "No, you didn't," said Priya. "There's no email trace." "Nothing." Jenna said nothing more, just quietly returned to writing. Her pencil moved slowly now. Deliberately, Lauren stood stiffly at the head of the table, her authority slowly slipping from her hands. "This isn't what we're here for. Let's move on." But the meeting had changed. Completely. Even in silence, Jenna had exposed the first crack. David looked over at the green pencil as Jenna tapped the eraser once, twice, on the edge of her notebook. A tool so simple, yet now it held weight. She wasn't just writing anymore. She was tracking truth. It started with a calendar update. Just a line in Outlook. 9 a.m. Internal review. Director plus audit committee plus staff. Lauren didn't send it. HR did. The night before, someone had quietly flagged a pattern of missed communications. Not one error. Multiple. Across 3 months. Across multiple clients. By 8:55 a.m., the strategy floor was silent. Lauren stood in the conference room, jaw tight, blazer sharp, makeup perfect. But her hands kept adjusting the cuffs. Her voice on the phone was clipped. "No, it's nothing. Standard check-in. Just HR being overcautious." Then Jenna walked in. Not late. Not early. Just right on time. She wore the same low ponytail, same worn flats, same mechanical pencil tucked inside her notebook. Except now, when she stepped into the room, people made space. Not out of fear, out of awareness. She sat across from Lauren, not at the edge this time. The HR rep began. Over the last quarter, we've tracked 4 major client mishandlings linked to internal miscommunication. We'd like clarity. Lauren smiled tightly. It's all in the reports. I oversee all major client contact. Do you mind walking us through BTQ 219? HR asked. Lauren opened her laptop. That one was declined. Budget cuts on their end. Actually, said Jenna softly, that wasn't confirmed. All heads turned. HR blinked. Pardon, I'd like to share something, Jenna continued, pulling a thin printout from her folder. It's a time-stamped entry from 3 weeks ago, before the file disappeared. She slid it across the table. Her own handwritten note. 3:13 p.m. Saw unopened BTQ. 219 proposal in shred pile. Client name still marked pending high. Lauren shifted. It could have been a duplicate, she said quickly. Or outdated. It wasn't, said Priya from the side. That proposal was fresh. And you never sent it. Lauren exhaled through her nose. Her tone frayed. We can't let interns rewrite protocols. I'm not, Jenna said quietly. I just wrote down what happened. You decided what followed. Silence. The kind that makes chairs creak and hearts pound. David stared at Jenna. Her eyes were calm. Not smug. Not angry. Just clear. That green pencil lay beside her pad, its grip now peeling more than ever, worn from days of silent logging. Lauren crossed her arms. You're a temp. You don't even know how this business works. HR raised a brow. And yet, her notes fill in gaps our systems missed. Lauren laughed once. You're taking her side? No, said the HR lead. We're taking facts. From anyone who offers them. Lauren opened her mouth, then closed it. For the first time since Jenna entered Denbridge, the air tilted. Not toward power, toward truth. Jenna didn't move. She didn't smile. She didn't gloat. She simply returned the pencil to her hand, flipped to a fresh page, and wrote one small line. System reacts when silence breaks. No one said it out loud, but everyone felt it. The shift had begun. No one moved. The projector screen had gone dark, but the room was brighter than ever. Not from light, but from exposure. Lauren still sat at the head of the table, lips pressed thin, but the illusion of control had vanished. Even her posture was slipping, one heel tapping, fingers twitching against the edge of the laptop she could no longer rely on. The HR lead cleared her throat softly. We'll be issuing a temporary hold on all major client-facing decisions until the review is complete. Lauren looked up, almost startled. Excuse me? We've received reports of 4 major missed follow-ups, 2 with documented proposal mishandling. We'll need to interview those involved. This is... Lauren started, but the words caught. Across from her, Priya quietly slid her chair back from the table. I'd like to be excused, she said. I need to update Baywell. Me too, added David, his voice more confident now. I'll reschedule the 11 o'clock call with marketing. They should probably know. Jenna stayed seated, her notebook closed now. Her pencil rested on top, still. She wasn't celebrating. She was waiting. Lauren stood abruptly. You're all reacting to an intern's scribbles? She's not even part of this department. The HR rep turned a page in her file. Actually, per the internship program guidelines, every intern's observation is logged and recorded, especially when they flagged process gaps. 3 times. 3. Lauren echoed. Jenna looked up finally. BTQ 219 wasn't the first. Lauren stared at her. You mean to tell me you've been What? Tracking mistakes. Jenna's voice was steady. I was tracking patterns. No gloating. No bitterness. Just quiet, precise truth. HR turned to Jenna. Ms. Taylor, would you consider joining our operations team full-time? We believe your attention to systems could help with our audit structure. Jenna blinked. The offer landed heavy, but her answer came lightly. If it helps fix what's broken, yes. Across the table, Lauren gave a dry, breathy laugh. You're rewarding her? She's a glorified assistant. No, said David. She's the only one who paid attention while the rest of us just nodded. Lauren's face tightened. This place used to run on confidence. Now it runs on tattletales. Jenna stood slowly. No anger. No heat. Just truth. She picked up the pencil and slid it behind her ear. Then met Lauren's gaze. Confidence without accountability isn't leadership. It's just noise. There was no applause. No cheer. Just stillness. The kind that comes when someone finally says what no one else had the courage to. Lauren turned away. HR took notes. People began to file out. Jenna left last, her notepad tucked under her arm, her pencil still resting behind her ear. She didn't just speak. She'd reset the room. 6 months passed. The old 17th-floor conference room, once icy with fear and favoritism, now held new desks, new protocols, and a new department name stenciled on the glass. Internal Integrity and Systems Operations. At the corner desk, near a sunny window that didn't exist before, Jenna Taylor reviewed a stack of workflow drafts. Her badge now read Operations Analyst, Level 2. Same ponytail. Same quiet focus. Only now, people paused when they passed her. Not out of curiosity, but respect. The green pencil still sat on her desk, though it had since been retired. Next to it, a sleek silver pen, engraved with the words "Document to protect, not to punish." That phrase had come from her first team meeting as an analyst, when asked what the purpose of audit reform should be. Her words became the motto. Since the audit, Denbridge had undergone an overhaul. Every intern's notebook was now part of official documentation. Anonymous reporting lines were created. Missed leads were tracked and reviewed. No decision moved forward without a second set of eyes. They even started a mentorship initiative, Silent Skills, pairing overlooked temp workers with cross-department leaders. Jenna's idea. That quiet desk by the printer? Replaced with a welcome area. A small framed sign sat there now. Everyone starts somewhere. Pay attention. David still worked there. Promoted now, thanks to a campaign he redesigned after Jenna helped recover a lost client file. He brought her coffee every Monday. Not out of guilt, out of gratitude. One morning, he handed her a wrapped box. Inside, a new pencil set. Just in case you ever need to write someone back into place, he said, smiling. She didn't laugh, but she smiled. Far across the city, in a quiet co-working space, Lauren Blake sat behind a borrowed desk, working freelance contracts. Her social media bios no longer read director, just marketing consultant. Available. More on her later. Back at Denbridge, HR had launched a biannual audit named after the moment everything changed. The J. Taylor Insight Report. Designed not to catch people, but to catch what's missed when arrogance overrides process. On the company website, Jenna's name didn't appear. She never asked for that. But when new hires walked in for orientation, they always paused at the framed pencil under glass near the elevator. The caption read, "She saw what no one else would." Then she wrote it down. That was enough. The light buzzed overhead, too bright for a space this empty. Lauren Blake sat alone at a communal desk in a WeWork building near the Marina District. Her blazer was still sharp, but the edges of her confidence had dulled. She typed slowly, correcting a sentence in a freelance pitch for a mid-sized skincare brand. She'd submitted 8 proposals this week. 2 were declined. 6 were ignored. A paper cup of burnt coffee sat untouched beside her laptop. Her phone face down. Silent. She opened her old folder marked Q4 client history. It was mostly archived decks and old scripts. Color-coded slides. Buzzwords. Her old playbook. None of it felt sharp anymore. She reached for a pen, then paused. At the bottom of her bag, she found it. An old Denbridge access badge. Still clipped to the lanyard. Still bearing her polished photo. Lauren Blake, Director of Strategy. The title meant nothing now. She turned it over in her hands. On the back, in faded marker, a note once scribbled by her former assistant as a joke. Confidence equals currency. Lauren stared at the phrase for a long time, then quietly dropped the badge in the trash. Across the shared office, a young woman with a denim jacket and a borrowed laptop typed furiously at the printer station. She reminded Lauren of someone. Years ago. Not Jenna's face, exactly. But the focus. The patience. Lauren turned away. She whispered to herself, almost inaudibly. I was wrong. The screen in front of her blinked back. No one responded. No one would. Because what she'd lost wasn't just a job. It was the room. The room that used to go silent when she entered. The room that now ran better without her. Outside, the wind pushed softly against the windows. Somewhere far above, in a different tower, change was still happening. But not here. Not anymore. It was early. Too early for most of the city. But on the 19th floor of Denbridge's new systems office, one light was already on. Jenna sat by the window, watching the sky shift from blue-gray to gold. She wasn't writing today, just watching. In her hands was the same green pencil. Not to use, just to remember. Across from her desk stood a small glass case. Inside, a framed page from her first notebook. The corner still curled from the time she pulled it out too fast. The sentence at the top, written on day 1. The smallest details reveal the biggest truths. Below it, names times a pattern. What once looked like paranoia now lived as policy. Jenna turned back to her computer. An email waited from a high school mentorship program asking her to speak about spotting injustice at work. She smiled softly, wrote 3 words on a sticky note. Truth makes room. And clicked accept. Downstairs, a new intern stepped into the building, eyes wide. Shy. Uncertain. He clutched a notepad. The elevator opened. Jenna happened to be inside. He hesitated. She held the door. You going up? She asked. He nodded. The door closed behind them. The cameras didn't roll. The world didn't clap. But in that small, silent moment, another story had already begun. Because true power doesn't always come from speeches or titles or noise. Sometimes, it comes from writing it down, watching, waiting, and when the moment is right, speaking with precision, not volume. So if you've ever been overlooked, underestimated, or told you were just there to assist, remember Jenna, not because she fought, but because she didn't have to raise her voice to make herself heard. The pencil was never just a pencil. It was a tool, a record, a reason, and a reminder. True greatness is quiet, until it doesn't need to be.